All right, so hi everyone. Hi again. I'm glad you could join us. And today we will have um, our final meeting for the orientation program. Of course, as we said at the beginning, we will meet again in the next program, which we will update you at some point. We're not quite sure when, but we will have other meetings. Hopefully you'll be able to join them. And today we will have a quick review about what we've been doing during this week. And let's begin. I like to say hi, Sarah, and hi, Yaakov. Yaakov could join us today.
Hi.
Hi,
I'm here.
everyone. Good. We're glad to have you here. All right. So, like we said, today we will talk about what we've been discussed and the videos that you received, recorded sessions that you received during this week. So, in our first recorded sessions, we spoke about communication culture in Israel. We also spoke about it in our meetings, that in the Israeli culture, the communication is direct. Normally, we have a direct communication. People will refer to you by your first name, and you can do the same. Of course, with your employer, I recommend to just ask them how they like to be called. Now, our approach here in Israel is we can be very friendly and touchy, and we hug and kiss, and it's normal. It's a normal behavior here in Israel. People are very friendly, but if it makes you feel uncomfortable, you should put boundaries and say that you don't want to be hugged, you don't want to be kissed. If it's the family or a very affectionate employer, you can put your boundaries. Another thing is that important to remember, keep in mind that we speak in loud tone. Our tones are, you could hear us, and we speak with our hands and body gestures. You will see that quite a lot. Don't worry, doesn't mean that we're angry. It's just the way we speak. Now, on the second recorded session, we spoke a little about public transportation, and we spoke about the Rav-Kav, the multi-line card. There is three multi-line cards, the Rav-Kav, and the personal, semi-anonymous, and anonymous card. You can use this card in public transportation as for trains or buses. You just need to, it's an electronic card that you charge it with money, of course. And if you have the personal card, you get 50% off for the ride fare. And if you get also the personal card, it will be with your name and details on it. And your money, in case the card will be damaged or stolen, it will not work, your money is safe. All the details are safe. You can go and get yourself a new Rav-Kav, a new card, and all the money will be transferred to the new card. It's like an insurance. In case you're taking the semi-anonymous or anonymous card, your money is not secure. In case of a loss or damage, your money is gone and can be replaced by a new card and charged with the new card. Beside the Rav-Kav, the multi-line card, there are others other ways to get around here in Israel. You have a common taxi companies that I will send you a link later on. And I will send you more links about the Ravkav, how to be used, where to get it, the Get Taxi. It's the company for taxi is one of them, but we recommend. Later on, we will explain if needed a bit more. You'll get more information. Sarah, you're on mute.
Right.
Sorry.
Okay, so I'd like to also review some of the things that we spoke about before in terms of building relationships, emotions, and many other things. So first we spoke about what are the basic values in the caregiving work, right? We spoke about human dignity, autonomy, how important that is to allow a person to make decisions as small as may be for as long as possible, right? About his daily routine, what to eat, what to wear, etc. We spoke about tolerance, how important it is not to make judgments, to allow our client and his family to express themselves freely, and hopefully we would be able to do that as well. Empathy, right? It takes time to get into a person's mind and his feelings, but we have to take the time to learn about them so that we can empathize with them in a real way, know what's hurting, and of course to know how to assist them best. We talked about compassion, and of course all of that is part of care. I want to emphasize a few things before we go on to the next slide. Perhaps we didn't talk enough about it, and that's confidentiality. I think part of being a professional is knowing and honoring our confidentiality in terms of what we put on the internet, what we share with family, with friends, what we share in any kind of a situation. So even here with us, I think that perhaps presenting and introducing your client, if they are in some way mentally disabled or not completely, with it, it may not be a good idea. This is kind of a new situation, and we want to do things the right way. So any kind of pictures with our clients, I think usually from the back is best. And any details we divulge about our, the family that we're working for is with their approval. So we must be sensitive to that. And of course, anything that we talk about in this forum is also confidential. And that's, between all of us, the stories we tell, the experiences we share, the questions that we ask, all of that. Hopefully we all understand that this is, within the best confidence that we would like to share with all of us. Okay, this is very important that everyone understands. And as Anat has said, we have prepared this these series of presentations for an orientation series, but in the months to come, we will be presenting other programs for you, and hopefully you'll be participating, and it'll be beneficial to everyone in some way or another. And confidentiality is very important. I want everyone to understand that when you share something with us here, it stays with us, okay? And so you must feel free to do so, and this would be, a good time to talk about that. I also want to talk about, a different kind of how should I say it, a role that we need to play in our work situation. And this is has to do with being proactive. I think that, in the previous presentations, we had some of us share who the clients were. One was a very introverted woman dealing with dementia. Another was also a woman dealing with dementia, very much smiling and, and open and willing to, to receive the care that she needs. But there are, a lot of different situations and a lot of different places that you're going to be dealing with all kinds of issues. And I think that the most important thing that you must understand is in being a professional, it is our job to be proactive. Proactive in the sense that I like to think of the term of being a third arm or a third leg or a third ear or a third eye in order to assist our employers to be better communicators with their family, better communicators perhaps with their friends, more enabled to enjoy things that they've been able to in the past, but are not able to now. You know, Corona has really been a game changer for everyone in the world in so many ways, and especially for disabled people. It has made them, you know, more of everything that's bad for them, okay? More secluded, more introverted, more suspicious, more detached from everything, and you know, that perhaps they may have been connected to in some way, in a small way, in the past before Corona. And so it would be very much part of your job to try to assist them. Yesterday we met Lily, and she was Lisa's employer, and she's very much not in need of any assistance using the internet and many other things. She still goes about her regular routine culturally and socially and so on. But I think that this is probably a unique situation that not many of you will encounter. And so I think that you must understand that part of your job is not just to care and cook and clean and provide medicine and so on and keep your clients safe, but also to try to enhance his, you know, emotional, social, and cultural life, if possible. Okay, if possible. So, you know, make a list of all of his friends that he'd like to keep in touch with and dial for him, try to find them online, Facebook, whatever, if he's not, you know, savvy on the computer. The same thing with if they like music. Music is really a very important part of human beings' life. And I think it's very important that you know, if the person is not able to communicate that to you, find out from his family, what kind of music did he like? Does he like? Try to ask them to help you to make, you know, like a playlist perhaps, and you can play that for them. It's also very inspiring, relaxing. It, you know, really works on everybody's physical and emotional being. Very important. And every other aspect of life to be part of those cycles again, you would be so much more appreciated. And I think the benefit would be for everyone. So please take that into mind, that this is a skill that you have by being young and modern and with it today. Okay, and take advantage of it. Okay. Next slide, Anat, please. Okay, an intercultural encounter. Well, intercultural differences are differences in traditions, food, norms, beliefs, values, which vary between nations, people, ethnic groups, speakers of different languages. Every culture has its own ways of expressing itself. Every culture has its own ways of defining conflict, passing messages, resolving conflict, and talking about it. Every culture has its own way to express emotions and talk about emotions or not talk about emotions. And I just want to emphasize that talking about emotions is, you know, oh, the dog, hope it's not disturbing everyone's concentration here. He'll pass in a minute. But talking about emotions, I think is, you know, not just culturally linked. I think we talk about emotions to people that we feel close to, or we share emotions when we feel a certain kind of, you know, closeness to someone. And so we have to allow that, right? Because emotions is the kind of work that we deal with. And I think that you also have to understand that sometimes, you know, different cultures show appreciation in different ways, right? And it's also, of course, a personal thing. And everybody needs to have positive strokes and to be appreciated. So learn, you know, how this particular family does that, and take in what they give you in that way. Some people will, you know, go out of their way, give you gifts, shower with you with compliments, and other people may not. We just say something very small, and that will be their way of showing their appreciation. But you must understand that they do appreciate, even if it is something small. So be sensitive to that as well. Next slide, Anat. Visas, that's you, Anat.
Yes. So, in one of the presentations, the recorded sessions, we spoke about visas and visas extensions. Now, there is a lot of information on those recorded sessions. In the recorded sessions of rights and obligations, please go back to those presentations, go back to all of them, but in those presentations, you will find important information regarding to your visas and visas extensions. Now, I like to talk about the last year of your time here. I know you just arrived, you just started working, but it is important to know that on your last year, it's good to know that if you're not gonna stay, if you're not staying and you're not stayed with the same employer for the next year plus 13, 14, 15 months before the 51 month end, the placement agency will ask you to work in different employers to replace different caregivers who's going to their holidays, going on vacation. And then you will fill spots for a period of time, a short period of time. In case you're staying with the same employer for more than a year, and you're going into your last year here in your contract, the family, in case if they still need your care, they can apply to extend your visa. Please go back to the presentation and read and hear and check your contract. Okay, we will not be able to go over the small details, they're very important details. Okay, so here we just had a little taste of what we talked about. Now, in case you wanna leave or change the employer, in case you like to leave, it should be only after you made a genuine and sincere attempt to carry out to stay. If you have any difficulties, issues, problems, you must try, settle, solve, find a solution within the family and the family of your employer. It is very important to try your best in good faith, try to solve any problem. You can involve the placement agency and try to see maybe they can help you overcome any obstacles along the way with the family. Now, in case you see that you can solve the problem, there is an issue that cannot be solved, and you still wish to leave your employer and change, you must give a prior written notice. And you should check with your placement agency, and it's written in your contract guiding you how long you have to stay after your prior written notice, because there is a period of time where you must stay with your employer, and it's in the law. And only after you finish that period, you can leave the employer. So the things we spoke about is the special obligatory period of prior written notice for caregivers. And there is geographic limitations, which I didn't speak about it now. You have it in the recorded session, the limitation of change of employment. If you like to change, you all know that you have geographic limitation written on your visa. If you change your employer, it must be in the same radius than where you are allowed to work. Now, there is a special supervision of foreign caregivers who have frequent changed their employer. I just want you to make sure that if you have any difficulties with one employer after the other, and you find yourself move from one to the next to changing different employers, PIBA and the authorities, they may start questioning you, try to understand what is the problem. And they will try to understand if the problem is you or there is an objective problem that cannot be solved. Just make sure that if there is a problem, try to find a way to solve it. And we spoke also about the requirements concerning registration by foreign caregivers placement agency. You also have it on the recorded sessions. If you're changing a placement agency, it must be registered by PIBA. Important. And due to the COVID-19 situation, it is important be aware of new guidance of Ministry of Health, which I sent you the links after our first meeting, the welcome meeting. Now, we also send you a recorded session about the call center. So it's very easy, short explanation how to make a complaint, how to contact, what you should do. I just like to remind you to register with an Israeli SIM card with your Israeli number. It is very important to register. Register now if you haven't registered yet. And in case you will change your SIM card, your Israeli number, you can register again and it will delete the old information. Besides that, put in mind that the call center will send you important information if there will be any updates in the law from PIBA that related to it, connected to you somehow, and this is something, information that you need to have, they will send it to you. So they stay in touch with you. It's very important to register as soon as you get your Israeli SIM card. And I sent you the link, the direct link, about a week ago, right after our first online meeting. You're on mute, Sarah?
Yeah, there we go. Okay. So going back to what we spoke about, building and developing the relationship with our patient or our employer, as we talked about it. We spoke about creating good communication, coordination of expectations, building trust. This is the main one, building trust. Creating the caregiving alliance, right? And we taking into account social and cultural components. Okay, next slide. Okay. We spoke about tools for effective communication. understanding how others communicate can be the key to getting your message across to them. In order to develop an effective communication style, here are a few tips to keep in mind. As we said, take ownership, use the I statement, say what you mean, and of course, mean what you say. Maintain eye contact, very important. Look a person in the face, try to get his concentration, perhaps by touching him or by, some other cue. Voice your needs and desires confidently, short, simple sentences, and don't forget to smile. Very important. People that smile get ahead that much quicker and faster. Always. When I used to employ people, if I interviewed them and they didn't smile during the interview more than half the time, I didn't accept them to work. So guys, this is a very important tool. Smile a lot. Tools for effective communication. We talked about active listening, okay, not just hearing what someone says, but really trying to understand what they're saying and giving them, okay, the encouragement that they need to express themselves. Find out what your patient or his opinion, his thoughts, his emotions. Try not to make assumptions or judgments. Reflection, in order to make sure that you're understood or that you understood what your patient meant, try to reflect that you understood by saying, I understand that so-and-so, and use his words when you're trying to do that. Repeat the words that they say. And that, I think, gives a person a feeling of affirmation and that he has been heard. And empathy, we talked about that. Try to empathize with your patient, even if you don't agree with them. And of course, the I message. The I message, very important. More tools for effective communication. Keyword, patience, patience, patience. Be patient with your patient and his family. This situation is new to them too, and it takes time to get to know each other. And you must be patient with yourself. You're going to make mistakes and it's okay. And a lot of new things to learn, especially in the kitchen, in the bathroom, everywhere in the house. Don't move things, don't touch things that you don't need to touch. You don't want people getting anxious. We already talked about the fact you're a stranger, you're entering their safe zone. So we don't want to be, intrusive in any way, cause any tension. Slowly, you want to ease into their pace, their rhythm of life, okay? Try to understand their routine. And after you've built a relationship of trust, then you slowly try to make things maybe more efficient, better, cleaner, whatever you think needs to be done, okay? But very slowly, not in the beginning. Okay, you're young, you're ambitious, you're able, and I'm sure you can do things much better in any way that you think is necessary. But do things the way they do them at first, just to make sure that you're not, overstepping any boundaries, any sensitivities, and so on and so forth. Routine is very important. We talked about how routine is important, so try to find their routine and slowly change it to make it a better routine. And what would make it a better routine? If it doesn't include exercise, if it doesn't include fresh air, if it doesn't include some kind of, emotional or psychological encounters or interactions with family, with friends, with neighbors, with, even the person in the park or an animal that goes by, or, people need interaction. They need to be interacting with a lot of different things, okay? So that would be a new and a very important thing that you would introduce in a very proactive way. We talked about tolerance. Even if you don't agree with your patient, try to respect his opinion. It's okay to disagree, but you must have a conversation about it. And of course, the nonverbal communication, that's the most important thing, okay? We want to try to understand and pick up on the cues of what they like, what they don't like, what feels good to them, what doesn't. And hopefully you'll be with your employer for a long time. And that means that maybe in the future, They won't be able to tell you what they like and they don't like. So it's very important to find out, as soon as possible, what smells they like, what makes them feel good. They like to be touched. They don't like to be touched. Talked about music. All the very simple things in life are very big to people that are disabled and homebound. Okay. Nonverbal communication. We're talking to a patient, maintain just another second, maintain eye contact, try to speak at eye level. We talked about that. Relax speech, calm tone, and smile. Okay. Tips for creating good relationship. Be mindful of how you start a conversation. Ask open questions. Use the I statement. We keep repeating that because it's very important. Be specific in the message that you want to transfer, okay? Short sentences, one message at a time. Give others the attitude that you want to receive. I think that is the basis for any relationship with anyone, no matter what culture you're from, right? You want to be respectful and honest and straightforward, and that's how we want people to be with us as well.
All right. So we spoke a little bit about adjusting to a new country, culture shock. Now, when you arrive to a new country to live and to work with no idea, no clue when you're gonna see home next time, it's pretty hard. It could be pretty hard. And for some of you, if it did not already happen, a culture shock may occur. So please be patient with yourself to get to know the area, get around, travel, and just be a tourist. This is an exciting time in your life, and it's gonna be incredible. You're gonna have so many new feelings and encounters, and the only thing I can recommend is to just be a tourist and travel and get to know the country. Study the local language. We spoke about it, that it is very important to try and learn Hebrew. And like we said, it will help you, your self-esteem, to get around in the area and to speak to your employer. Be proactive about your physical health. Pay attention to your diet, hygiene, and get regular rest, exercise, and relaxation. Okay, it is very important to have a routine or to mix it up a bit, but just make sure and pay attention to the list we have here, and it will be nice to keep a diary or a blog in social media. Just keep in mind to be discreet and with anything to do to your employer and specific details, and don't upload a photo unless your employer gives his permission, if he can. If not, ask the family, ask their permission. I recommend on a diary just for you to have from this exciting period of your time, that you could later on come back and read everything that you may forget over time. Make sure to keep in touch with the family and friends and events back at home. Stay present in their life and make sure to leave an open communication with your family on a regular basis. Now, regarding your communication with family in distance and your loved ones, find a way to maintain those relationships. Set up a specific time, if it's a day, an hour, duration of a meeting, and make sure that you're going to meet. If it's to just give them a call in the morning to say good morning, or for your kids before they go to sleep, after school, make sure that you have a specific time where you're going to speak. And if it's over the phone or video chat, we recommend to do whatever you can to maintain those connections. There should be high quality communication without interference. The interference include household worries. Okay, make sure that you have the time to communicate with your family, that you have a free time, and at home, if there are any issues, problems at home, be present in their life as well. Make sure to set up a time and be with them, be present. Try to avoid, if you're angry, try to avoid communication by text messages. Normally it doesn't go well when people can hear the tone of your messages and you can be misunderstood. So make sure to have video contact, video chat, and to talk about things good and bad. Now, you didn't send us any questions, so I would like to open a discussion. And if you'd like to ask any questions now, you're more than welcome. Now is the time. Anyone like to ask anything? Concern, share thoughts? All right. So I guess we will continue. All right, everyone. So like I said before, we stay in touch. That means that the call center is here for you. If you find that you cannot solve a problem within the family and your employer, and you cannot find a solution to a problem when you get your social worker and your placement agency involved, please contact the call center. First, of course, try to do your best to find solutions to your problems, but the call center is there for you. They're available. You have the link, the direct registration. Here's the number. We're still here on the Viber group. And so don't forget to contact in cases that you feel you need the help of the call center. I like to thank everyone. It was a short meeting. We said we're gonna keep it pretty short, and you didn't have any questions. So I like to welcome you to ask questions now if you have.
About
After we
anything.
Anything, absolutely. All right. No questions? All right, everyone. So like I said, we're still available here for you on the Viber group. And so if you have any questions, you can ask us. If you're not sure about something, contact your placement agency, contact your social worker, ask the family where you're staying, ask questions. And don't forget to smile, like Sarah always said. All right,
I wish you all the
everyone. So
best, everyone. You're
I
wonderful
wish you the
people.
best.
I commend you for, your undertaking and coming into, to our country and doing this wonderful, difficult job. And I'm sure you're going to do just wonderfully.
Thank you for the warm welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Miss
you.
Sarah and Miss Anna.
Thank
You're
you so
very
Thank
much.
welcome.
you.
Good luck
Wish
to
you
you.
the best and take care.
Ma'am Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the
Thank you very much.
advice.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good luck.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.